Summertime Odyssey now unlocked. Well, I hope it's unlocked. It's been days since I last played. What? Sure, whatever. Go away. I tend to do this before I start games, but we're here now. We may as well go through it. The Golden Apple Vacation returns. It wasn't really the most interesting thing known to mankind the first time around, but hey. It looks very different this time around, so I'm quite interested to see where it takes us. Especially the characters we're going with. Okay, not Xingyang. She can just go play in her own corner. The other three, I'm interested to see how they will interact with one another. Because they don't know each other, as far as I'm aware. So it'd be interesting to see them all interact. So that's Summertime Odyssey. It goes for over a month. Resonating Visions, I believe, is how you just get her special outfit. We can test run the same lot as last time. It's occurring to me that we didn't finish his story. Oh, wow. I was here going, yeah, okay, cool, ready for summertime. I'm like, actually, I haven't finished his story, so we're actually gonna do that. Whoops. Yeah, so I'm just gonna turn my volume up. It sounds very quiet. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe my earbuds are dying. So, okay, we're not summertime odysseying just yet. We are going to the warehouse where the fire broke out. Oh shit, that was loud. Whew.
Wait.
I'm waiting.
I hear something ominous in the wind.
No, I'm not going to touch that statement.
Oh! This must be another one of those sounds that only you can hear. As sketchy as that whole thing seems, you did put it to good use when we were chasing down that vision thief at Beto's tournament, so...
It is not often that I find myself in agreement with the emergency food, but as sketchy as that whole thing seems, I'm totally on... I agree with you. I'm on board with this, Paimon. I knew we could count on you.
Now I'm picking up a strong scent in
What
addition
are you, a
to
dog?
the sound. It's right around here somewhere.
What do you mean a scent? A warehouse burnt down.
There's nothing here.
A warehouse burnt down. You're gonna smell something.
It's gone now, but I can still sense the direction it left in.
Seriously, is he part... What is it, Bloodhound? The ones that track really well? I don't do dogs. But, yeah, he must have part dog blood in him because that's just unnatural.
It felt very much like that ancient presence in Inazuma. The remnants of the Tatarigami.
Here? That's relevant how? By the way, not seeing the warehouse. The Tatarigami, that's the one thing I didn't expect to encounter here.
Indeed. But this unexpected spring of inauspicious energy may prove to be of benefit to our investigation.
You know, it's not surprising me that you're speaking of inauspicious things. It seems like you're kind of a shtick, Kazuha.
We should remain vigilant and approach slowly.
I'm sorry, were we not remaining vigilant already and approaching slowly? Caution was already on my mind.
Huh. So it's an underground warehouse.
Sorry, there are just many questions running through my mind. About how did anybody escape a fire in an underground warehouse? Because if the fire started, it's likely blocking your exit. And there's no ventilation down there. And yeah, and then why is this particular hatch intact when it is also made of wood?
The force is definitely coming from down below.
No, Kazuha, the force is within.
The source of the Tatarigami energy has long since left this place, but the residue it left behind still hasn't dissipated completely.
I'm gonna be honest, I really don't understand what he's referring to when he says the Tatarigami energy. I know we did stuff with it, but I don't understand how he's referencing it here. I think it's been too long since I interacted with the Tatarigami, so I don't really remember enough to make sense of this.
Judging from the concentration, I would have to conclude that the Tatarigami source resided here for a very long time.
Mrs. Nagato said her husband used to hang around the warehouse by himself a lot.
could well be that he was already under the influence of Tatarigami energy at that time.
Surely someone would have noticed. Depends on how it manifested.
From what I've been told, Tatarigami does not turn all upon whom it preys into violent monsters, but most will develop a stubborn streak upon being exposed to the Tatarigami's unfulfilled will. Their interests become fanatical obsessions.
Are we already aware of the possibility of the Tatarigami energy corrupting human beings? That feels like new information to me. But again, it's just been a very long time since we dealt with anything relating to Tatarigami, so my memory could just be faulty. And also, I retained nothing of this game. It goes through in one ear and out the other. But I kind of feel like this is the first time I talk about Tatarigami affecting people.
Mr. Nagato had an interest in collecting to begin with. The influence of Tatarigami could explain why he became an obsessive hoarder, amassing more and more possessions, even as he put himself in grave debt.
So what should we do now? Go down and take a look?
Oh sure, let's go down the ladder/stairs that have been crisped or possibly burnt and become structurally unsound due to a fire. Great idea. Also, lack of ventilation, it's still gonna smell like smoke down there.
Step back. I'll open the door and take a look inside.
That's dangerous.
If we don't open this door, we can move no closer to the truth.
He's not wrong.
You needn't worry. Both of us have faced far greater dangers
And what,
than
residual
this.
smoke inhalation?
Relatively speaking, the risk here is trivial.
Tell that to the emergency food.
What's down there?
No idea.
Everything's buried in debris. I can't see anything.
What part of... There was a fire. Is nobody comprehending?
It looks like the fire caused a cave-in, reducing the entire warehouse to rubble.
It's wood. I'm sorry, Kazuha, but what the fuck else were you expecting? It's underground wood. It is going to smolder and cinder until there is not left to be structurally sound. I don't know what you were expecting. So in the end, it was just a scare. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
That was too scary.
What?
Paimon was so sure that the warehouse boogeyman was about to jump out at us.
What are you, 5?
All we can do now is keep searching in the direction that the Tatarigami energy's source left this place.
Well, how convenient that you happened to smell it.
2 ordinary humans, entangled with the Tatarigami. I fear much misfortune has already befallen them.
Yeah, I really don't remember Tatarigami. How were they corrupted by it or influenced by it? How did it get introduced into their system? That is my core question. Where did it come from? How did it manifest in them? How are they exposed to it? No one seems to be asking these questions, but they're the ones I want to know the answers to. Let's hurry. We cannot afford to delay any longer. You know, everything can be said in a false dramatic tone in this game.
Yes, let's go. If nothing else, it's vital that we find out where this Tatarigami energy is coming from.
Oh, well. Vital for the locals. It's not vital for us.
Quiet your mind and focus on what you sense around you. Perhaps you, too, will perceive its ominous presence in the wind.
I doubt it. Use elemental gaze. No, I mean, it doesn't say it, but you know that's what it means. Oh, no, I don't even need to use elemental gaze. Decide. This shit's literally in front of me. God, this is great. I don't have to hold the looky button. That doesn't really stay looky. What does this remind me of? There was a game where you followed red scent. Was that Red Dead Redemption 2? I can't remember. That's what this reminds me of in any case. Following the... Was it that? The red scent and it crisscrosses with other scents and you can't lose track of your scent. God, what game was that? I don't remember. Are we going down
From
here?
this point, the trail appears to split into 2.
Does that insinuate that there were 2 people?
The main source of the Tatarigami energy continued on into the distance, but a small portion remained here, and seems to be dissipating slowly.
2 parts that would correspond to Mr. Nagato and Amanoma Yuya.
Quite possibly. Let's search the area.
But then it's interesting that one is stronger than the other. Does that mean that one has been manifesting Tatarigami for longer than the other? I'm a searching.
Whoa! Look at all those hilly churls. They're acting really strangely.
Not really.
Something seems to be drawing your attention. Let's take a closer look.
I'd love to. Just gotta, callously slaughter them first.
It's...
Sorry. Shall I just let this dissipate? Okay, we're good.
Ugh! Look at this red stuff.
What red stuff?
What is it?
What red stuff? I can't see shit.
By the looks of it, a letter written on a piece of torn clothing.
Why can't we ever see what they're
The
talking
ink
about?
is bone dry. It must have been written quite some time ago.
They never show us things. People hand over objects and there's like nothing in their hand.
Well, let's take a look.
Well, I would if you would actually show it to me. Red dyed fabric. I am Nagato. I was wounded by Amanoma Yuya. He took my most precious blade. I chased him, but could not catch him. I lay down here to rest on account of my exhaustion. I thought that I might croak right here. My stomach kept on bleeding, but it seems that some strange power has sustained me. Why did he steal that blade? I was going to sell it to him. He even burnt my warehouse down. Ugh, it hurts. It hurts. For some reason, I can't fall unconscious, so all I can do to distract from the pain is write. What will happen to Sachiko, Yuichi, and Yuji? I'm sorry to them. I really am. Only now do I realize how stuck in my ways I was, and how blind to my obsession. I must have been cursed. I collected all those strange and bizarre things, but they won me not one iota of happiness or warmth. Put all of it together, and it still wouldn't have been worth a single word from her mouth. Thank you, and sorry for letting you down, Sachiko.
According to this letter, a conflict arose because Amenoma Yuya wanted to seize a blade belonging to Mr. Nagato.
I did read the letter. I'm aware of this.
Yuya started the fire that destroyed the warehouse and wounded Mr. Nagato in the fight. Mr. Nagato kept chase as long as he could, eventually stopping here to write this letter when his strength gave out.
This game does this a lot. It presents you with a piece of text, which you then read because it throws it in your face and you don't have much of a choice in the matter. And then in dialogue, the other character literally just repeats or summarizes what you just read. Like, why? We read it. I don't need you to recap what I read not 5 seconds prior. Are you assuming that the player is stupid and you must double down?
So, where is he?
He was not only mortally wounded, but also under the heavy influence of Tatarigami. Add to that the fact that its aura seems to have attracted a horde of monsters, and I'm afraid he may no longer be with us.
Do they eat the bones? Would there not still be some part of him present?
Whatever traces there may have been of his fate beyond after this point, they've since been disturbed by the hilly churls. There's nothing more for us to find here.
And may I also point out, this game doesn't do dark, so I don't think we're going to have his corpse just show up somewhere. I'll ask the Temporal Commission to do a thorough search later. There are more important things right now.
Yes. Right now, we need to uncover some more important truths. If Amenoma Yuya is attacking other people indiscriminately, then the longer we take to find him, the more people risk meeting the same tragic end.
It's not indiscriminately, though. It was very specific and within his character, and sometimes personality, but like the reason for it, if he's under some sort of manic exacerbator, for lack of a better word, then this incident makes sense. I don't think he's just attacking people indiscriminately.
Right, so let's get moving.
How did it come to this? It's not in his nature.
I wouldn't be surprised if he, too, fell prey to the influence of the Tatarigami.
I'm sorry, did we not already realize this like 5 minutes ago? The presence of the Tatarigami is strong here. There are two paths at Tatarigami. What were you insinuating if you weren't already insinuating that one of them was Nagato or whatever his name is? I don't understand why you're suddenly saying this like it's a big revelation.
For a practitioner of the martial arts, the easiest desire to inflame would be their pursuit of further power and skill. All the clues that at first seemed disparate and disconnected. It seems that now we know the thread that runs between them. I have a hypothesis that, if it's correct, not only explains the series of events leading to the two men's disappearance, but also zeroes in on the attacker's identity.
Wait, you figured it out? So these two cases are connected after all?
Why are we still not asking the big questions? Where did the Tatarigami come from?
I believe so. But it's something of an outlandish idea. I will only be able to confirm my suspicions once we've met him in person. On with the search. We must stay vigilant. At any point now, we may find ourselves in danger.
So you keep telling me. Constant vigilance, dude. I've heard Moody say that a bajillion times. I get it. Or read Moody. Read it more than I've heard it. Are we still continuing to follow Sen? Oh, right. Now we're following the other path. Guess we're going this way. What the? Okay. Coming through. I was a little too zealous.
Let's take shelter for the time being. Don't worry. One of my people will be here with umbrellas momentarily.
I could have come here organically, but sure. We'll take your quick path.
He seems to have stayed here for a long time.
Why here? Is there anything special about this place?
I'm not sure. But on closer examination, I sense that the aura may have lingered here at several different points in time.
Show yourself! It's no use hiding anymore.
Oh, he's still here. Oh, this is the other dude. Who was wanting to
Kaedehara Kazuha.
chase in Kazuha.
It's you, at last.
So is this you?
Aha! So it is the same guy from before. What's your problem, huh? What could you possibly have against Kazuha?
The glowy shit. It's a Tatarigami, but that's not the realization I came to. He wants to fight Kazuha because his need to prove his power and skill is driving him to challenge the person who currently has the highest reputation for fighting in Inazuma. Everyone's talking about Kazuha.
Indeed, there should be no enmity between us. If it is Ame no Miyuya that stands before us. But what if instead of facing Ame no Miyuya, we are in fact facing the blade in his hand?
Well, duh. That's the Tatarigami source. But is it originally the source of it?
Now that you mention it, it is giving off a strange light.
Now that you mention it, do you need to go to an optometrist, Paimon? If you didn't see it?
Whoa! Surely you don't mean... Are you serious?
What?
Tatarigami energy often lodges itself within physical objects, then works to subtly affect any living organisms in its vicinity.
Are you insinuating that it does this deliberately? I thought it was just a consequence of its existence, but you're insinuating that it is sentient in a way and is deliberately affecting living organisms?
The blade has resided in Mr. Nagato's warehouse for many years, affecting his state of mind, and more recently using the sale as a means to affect, or rather as a means to occupy, Ame no Miyuya's body.
You're sharper than I thought. You've already deduced the truth of the matter. Many, many years ago, I was forged by a famed bladesmith of the Ishin tradition. I was his pride and joy. In me, he placed all his hopes and dreams. As a descendant of the Kaedehara clan, you should be able to guess our greatest regret.
I like my version better.
I presume it has something to do with the Raiden Gokaden.
Indeed. At that point in time, he failed to live up to the Raiden Shogun's expectations. In the end, all he could do was to flee the nation by sea on a ship bound for Snezhnaya. He was a bladesmith of great renown, a master of his craft. There was nothing that he could not accomplish. All he needed was more time and a little faith. And sure enough, in the end, he achieved what he had set out to do. All of his life's work, his wisdom, his skill, it culminated in his creation of me. He not only bestowed upon me the greatest of strength, but also endowed me with a consciousness of my own.
How? Did he just put the Tatarigami energy into the sword and that caused you to gain consciousness of sentience?
In her conceit, the Raiden Shogun lost not only the single most perfect blade in the entire world, but also an irreplaceable achievement in the art of blade forging.
So, swords can become conscious and control people?
The people of the time in which I was born never believed I had that kind of power. They saw me as a mere blade, a sharp and well-crafted one, but in all other respects an ordinary weapon. But that gave me the opportunity to take action.
I guess we're just gonna brush over the fact that he was given sentience by a bladesmith? The dude isn't capable of magic, so how did he give you sentience? I refuse to just push that aside and just take it as granted. I want answers.
After the death of my creator, I decided to leave Snezhnaya and began my long quest to return to the distant land of Inazuma. Moving from one person to the next, I controlled the minds of countless hosts along the way, each bringing me one step closer to my ancestral home.
I guess no one decided to educate him on morals and ethics.
I seek but one thing: to face the full force of the Raiden Shogun's blade and prove my power, the might of Ishin art.
So why are you challenging Kazuha? He doesn't have the Shogun's blade.
So Amenoma Yuya was not your first victim. Tell me, what happens to those you've possessed when you've finished using them?
I had wondered, but, I wasn't going to go there because I thought I was getting a little grim.
My hosts? Who cares what happens to them? They are but tools that serve my mission.
Like I said, nobody's taught him about morals and ethics.
When they got tired or injured or unusable, I hopped to the next one in line. All I needed them for was to take me back to Inazuma.
You're awful.
Yep.
After I returned to Inazuma, I decided to bide my time in Nagato's warehouse until Amenoma Yuya handed himself over to me on a silver platter. At long last, I'm approaching my journey's destination. By Amenoma Yuya's body, I have found you, and by your hand, I shall defeat the Raiden Shogun.
But why Kazuha's hand?
Kaedehara Kazuha, you stood against the Raiden Shogun's Muso no Hitotachi. There can be no other to serve as my host for what is to come.
That's literally your only reason for picking Kazuha? It has nothing to do with the history or anything. It's purely because of that. I don't buy it, but okay.
Now, give your body over to me!
I mean, by your own argument, the Traveler would be a far better option. Oh, we're fighting. Okay. Cool. Hi, dude. I don't know how to fight as Kazuha, so you're just gonna have to deal with me making it up as I go. I don't know if I'm supposed to be holding things or not. Sir, can you please get out of the water? Thank you.
And sever that divine light!
Re-emerge into Taka. Amenoma Yuya. Sorry, I was actually probably reading his name.
The wind knows me.
Me!
Again, out of the water, sir.
One with nature. As one with wind and cloud.
Oh, he has the same unsheathing animation as Aether. I don't like that.
The wind.
I it like that, it's the same.
Do not stand in my way, or I will strike you down too!
Your bluff's fooling no one. You've lost.
How do you expect to beat the Raiden Shogun if you can't even beat Kazuha?
Lost. I can never lose. It is this body that has reached its limit, nothing more.
But you're the one inhabiting it. Isn't it your mind and your muscle memory, so to speak, that is the driving force?
Even if you defeat me here, the one who falls will not be me, but this man. He is but a puppet that can be replaced. I can take a new vessel at will.
Then we will smash you into pieces. I sorely hope she means the weapon and not the dude.
The end result is the same! I will end this wretch's life before you can lift a finger!
Wow, so now we're threatening homicide? Jeez.
And even if I were to lose my physical form, it is but a small setback. My consciousness shall endure.
Not if we destroy the sword, you won't.
By any means necessary, and any medium available, I shall return and fulfill my destiny!
So, here's what we do. We get a block of concrete, wet, stick you in, let it harden around you so nothing's visible, drop you in the middle of the ocean. Problem solved.
Your fighting style. It is indeed the forms of Ishin art, but from your movements, I sense only hatred and arrogance, as well as a thinly veiled mania and despair.
Really? You can tell all that just from his moves?
As I've mentioned before, the forms of Ishin art convey the user's thoughts and feelings. Since the blade is currently possessing Aminome Yuya's body, its movements express the innermost thoughts of the blade. If you ask me, the mania is probably due to your desperate, single-minded ambition. You believe I am your only hope.
Are you trying to claim that I am helpless without you?
Yes.
On his deathbed, he passed to me all of Ishin Art's secrets. The little that you know barely scratches the surface. In that regard, why would I ever need your help?
Because all of that is in the past. I've been wondering why you've not caused more trouble in all the years that you've been in Inazuma. If you are indeed a cursed blade that can possess its owner. Now that I've seen inside your mind, everything finally makes sense. You weren't biding your time. You were trapped. After all the time that's passed, you have grown weak. To the point that you are now unable to acquire a new host without making physical contact.
Oh, that's right. Paimon remembers now. Mr. Nagato had a habit of never touching his collectibles.
I don't remember that, but sure.
Only when Mr. Nagato witnessed his wife's distress and decided to sell his collectibles did you finally have an opportunity to reach out to Aminome Yuya and make your escape.
And what of it?
Well, that brings me to my second point. There's a despair in you that is so strong it threatens to overwhelm you. You were determined to fulfill your maker's ambition, whatever the cost. But this ambition is too grand and too heavy for you to bear. Each step you have taken has come at a great cost. I think you realized your limitations long ago. The more you clenched your teeth and pressed forward, the greater your fear of losing everything you had achieved grew, and the more you wished to run from the truth. But the way I see it, what began as an ambition has long since become a delusional fantasy.
What would you know about any of this? I'm just one step away from achieving my goal!
You returned to Inazuma to prove the unparalleled brilliance of Ishin art. But to make this arduous journey, you committed countless atrocities and showed a blatant disregard for human life, even if you were to sever that divine light. Is this truly the outcome that your maker would have desired?
You...
Sure, you inherited the secrets of Ishin art. But even as you made your journey to honor this legacy, you treated the ones who wielded you as mere tools to do your bidding. How could you possibly unleash the full potential of Ishin art when you act in perfect discordance with the principle of harmony between a blade and its bearer?
Not gonna lie, his monologue is boring me.
Silence, you blabbering fool! I must achieve my goal. This was his life's dream, and the very purpose for which I was brought into being. I will concede that you are most perceptive. You see my predicament clearly. But you also underestimate my resolve.
And you should face reality.
Easy for you to say. Facing reality offers me nothing. I have no need of anything that would stand in my way. Not hesitation, not self-reflection, and certainly not your so-called reality. It is pointless to argue further, descendant of the Kaedahara clan. If you wish to save this man, then offer me your body in exchange.
How stubbornly you stick to your wayward path. I do not believe for a second that you can challenge the almighty Shogun in your current state. So let us make a bet, and I will put your strength to the test.
What? Surely you're not planning to agree to his demands.
Very well. Then find yourself some enemies with whom you wish to cross blades. A taste of my power will more than convince you. Once we have dealt with them, we shall proceed to Tenshukaku.
And as for your end of the bargain, if you lose, you must release Amenoma Yuya from your control.
I accept.
Don't do this, Kazuha!
This is a risky strategy. You're dealing with a cursed blade that can possess people.
This is the only way to save Amenoma Yuya. If we don't do this, he'll forever be the blade's puppet. The cursed blade's strength is currently very weak, and I sense he's hesitating. This suggests his heart is still not completely devoid of honor. The power of the Tatarigami lies in intensifying existing obsessions. This is the reason Mr. Nagato and Amenoma Yuya fell prey to it. Since I don't have any similar kinds of obsessions, I should be able to put up some resistance for a while.
But even so...
Even if things take a turn for the worse, I still have you both here with me. We have a chance here to save an innocent victim. I am willing to accept the risks entailed.
Alright, fine. It's not like I can stop you.
Your disdain for me betrays your woeful ignorance.
Don't look at
I
me.
agreed
Look
to
at him.
this bet because there are things I wish to learn too. Now, take me in your hand.
Yep. That can't be taken any other way. It clashes with your color scheme.
Kazuha?
I'm okay.
Yeah, you really sound it.
I felt a little dizzy at first, but only for a moment. It's all right. So far, this was as I expected.
If something feels off, let me know immediately. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but let me know.
I will.
What should we do next? Have you got a plan, Kazuha?
We find some enemies.
Any in particular?
Although this blade has endured much turmoil, it probably hasn't experienced many real fights.
Shh, don't say that where he can hear you.
If a blade built for Ishin art cannot enter a state of harmony between blade and bearer, it cannot unleash its true power. If he wants to avoid reality, then we need to fight until he has no choice but to face it. He shouldn't last long in an intense combat situation.
Wait a minute. Paimon remembers hearing about something from the Adventurers Guild. Since the Takasukasa clan abandoned that secret base, it's been held by Ronin ever since.
I have no idea what you're referring to, but sure, that should fit the bill.
All right. Please lead the way.
So we're going to a domain?
What about Amenoma Yuya? What should we do with him?
The blade says he'll let Amenoma Yuya trail us silently. Although he hasn't regained his own consciousness yet, he is not in any immediate danger.
Are we sure this is a good idea?
Nope.
It's a pretty treacherous journey. Okay, fine. Just be careful.
No one answered you, Paimon, except for me. How far away is it? Through the mist, a name unveiled completed.